following is a 2025 update to this article. Although a federal executive order issued in January 2025 halted the routine issuance of new US passports with an X gender marker, the good news is that a nationwide injunction from Orr versus Trump, issued June 17, 2025, temporarily blocks enforcement of that order. This means unexpired passports with an X remain valid, and eligible applicants can still request an X designation under interim court relief. Even more encouraging, many states like California, Colorado, Minnesota, and New Jersey continue to legally recognise X markers on their own IDs and driver's licences. These state-issued IDs remain valid for notarial purposes across state lines, so long as your state allows acceptance of out-of-state identification and does not explicitly prohibit the X marker in its notary statutes or handbook. Unless otherwise stated by your commissioning agency, any valid, unexpired ID, whether from another state or a federally issued passport, must be accepted regardless of the gender marker it displays. While national policy remains in flux, the prevailing standard is inclusion, legality, and recognition. Notaries can confidently continue serving clients with X markers, knowing they are both legally protected and helping to uphold the dignity of every person who sits before them. Please note that the following article remains unchanged from the above update. How do I notarize for a transgender, gender non-binary and/or intersex person? Article by Zara Shea, Notary Public. Notaries have a pivotal role in upholding principles that reflect fairness and respect. When notarizing for transgender, gender non-binary, and intersex persons, it is crucial to create an environment that recognises their dignity and unique identities. Here's how notaries can provide services that align with legal mandates and ethical considerations. Respect pronoun usage. Pronouns are more than mere words. They are affirmations of a person's identity. Always use the correct pronouns, and, when in doubt, ask politely. If you make a mistake, apologise sincerely and move on without making a scene. Educate yourself. Understanding the diverse experiences of transgender, gender non-binary, intersex and LGBTQ+ communities is not just a professional requirement, it's a human one. As notaries, it's vital to take proactive steps to educate yourself. This involves understanding terminologies. Familiarise yourself with terms like cisgender, transgender, non-binary, genderqueer, gender fluid, and intersex. Each term has specific meanings, and using them accurately reflects your respect and knowledge. Recognising different experiences. Understand that each person's experience is unique. Gender identity and sexual orientation are multifaceted and can vary widely among individuals. Seeking professional training. Consider attending workshops, seminars, or online courses that focus on LGBTQ+ inclusivity and awareness. Many organisations offer specialised training that can deepen your understanding. Reading and researching. Books, articles, and online resources written by LGBTQ+ authors or experts can provide valuable insights. Engaging with authentic voices and perspectives enhances empathy and awareness. Connecting with community organisations. Collaborate with LGBTQ+ advocacy groups or community organisations to stay updated on best practices, laws, and policies that impact the community. Listening and learning from others. Engage in respectful dialogues with LGBTQ+ individuals and allies. Listening to personal stories and experiences can offer a first-hand understanding that goes beyond textbooks. Reflecting on personal biases. Self-reflection is essential to recognise any personal biases or misconceptions. Challenge yourself to grow and adapt to ensure an unbiased approach to your notarial duties. By investing time and effort in these areas, you not only fulfil your professional responsibilities, but also contribute to creating a more inclusive and empathetic society. Embrace continuous learning to foster empathy and avoid misunderstandings, ensuring that you're always prepared to serve all clients with the respect and dignity they deserve. Handling non-binary identification in states without clear guidance. In some states, there may be a lack of clear guidance on how to handle identifications that don't fall under the traditional male, M or female, F categories, but identify as non-binary, X. This can pose challenges for notaries seeking to follow the law, while also respecting the gender identity of individuals. At the federal level, the United States has recognized the non-binary X gender marker on US passports, underscoring the importance of acknowledging diverse gender identities. Additionally, 16 jurisdictions, including the District of Columbia, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Hawaii, Illinois, Indiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, New Hampshire, New Jersey, and New Mexico, allow the use of the X marker, reflecting a growing recognition of non-binary identities. This federal acknowledgement, alongside the policies adopted by these jurisdictions, signifies a crucial step towards inclusivity, mandating that all notaries, irrespective of personal beliefs, treat transgender, gender non-binary, and intersex people with dignity and respect. This requirement is especially pertinent given that the United States is a secular nation, where the acceptance of US passports and out-of-state identifications from these jurisdictions effectively makes the respectful treatment of all individuals a nationwide standard for notarial services. For notaries operating in states without explicit guidelines for non-binary identification, here are some best practices to consider. Consult legal guidance. When in doubt, consult with a legal expert or the governing body for notaries in your state to understand the specific requirements and best practices in handling non-binary identification. Follow existing laws and regulations. Adhere to the existing laws and regulations governing notarization in your state, while also respecting the client's gender identity. Ensure that you comply with the legal requirements for identification without discrimination. Provide a respectful environment. Approach the situation with sensitivity and respect. Communicate openly with the client, explaining the legal requirements and asking for their preferences in handling the situation. Document carefully. Maintain detailed and accurate records of the notarization, including any unique circumstances or challenges encountered. Clear documentation can provide protection in the event of legal scrutiny. Advocate for inclusivity. If applicable, consider advocating for clear and inclusive guidelines within your state. Collaborate with professional organisations or LGBTQ+ advocacy groups to promote awareness and change. While the lack of clear guidance can be challenging, notaries must continue to uphold the principles of fairness, respect, and non-discrimination in all notarial acts. By following best practices and remaining committed to inclusivity, notaries can navigate these complex situations with professionalism and integrity. Handling identification with old images that don't match current appearance. In notarial practice, there may be instances when a client presents identification with an old image that doesn't align with their current appearance. This is particularly relevant for transgender and gender non-binary individuals who may have transitioned or changed their expression since the photo was taken. Here's how to approach these situations. Transgender female with identification. looking more masculine. Exercise sensitivity. Recognise that the image may represent a previous phase in the individual's life. Approach the situation with care and avoid drawing unnecessary attention to the discrepancy. Verify identity with other means. If needed, request additional identification or information that verifies the individual's identity without focusing on gender appearance. Maintain professionalism. Treat the situation as you would with any other client where there is a discrepancy in appearance without singling out or stigmatizing the individual. Transgender male with identification. Looking more feminine. Exercise sensitivity. Understand that the image may reflect a previous stage of transition. Handle the situation with empathy and discretion. Verify identity with other means. Seek other ways to verify identity, such as additional identification or documents that align with current legal requirements. Maintain professionalism. Focus on the task at hand and avoid personal or intrusive questions related to appearance or gender identity. Gender non-binary. Person with identification. Not matching current appearance. Exercise a sensitivity. Acknowledge that gender expression can be fluid and that the identification image may no longer represent the individual's current appearance. Verify identity with other means. Utilize other forms of identification or verification methods that comply with legal standards without focusing on gendered appearance. Maintain professionalism. Conduct the notarial act with respect and integrity, ensuring that the individual's unique identity is honoured without bias or discrimination. Some states allow the use of witnesses as a form of identification. If you encounter a situation where traditional identification methods are challenging or unclear, the use of credible witnesses may be a legally acceptable option. However, laws and regulations regarding the use of witnesses as a form of identification vary from state to state. When in doubt, always consult with your local notary law or seek guidance from the governing body for notaries in your jurisdiction. Understanding and following the specific legal requirements in your area ensures that you conduct notarial acts in compliance with the law while maintaining respect for the diverse identities of your clients. These scenarios highlight the importance of empathy, sensitivity, and professionalism in handling identification discrepancies related to gender appearance. By adhering to best practices and focusing on the legal requirements of identity verification, notaries can create a respectful and inclusive environment that recognises the dignity of all individuals. Avoid assumptions. Appearances can be deceiving. Refrain from making assumptions about someone's gender identity, sexual orientation, or intersex status. Respect people's autonomy to disclose personal information as they see fit. No snide behaviour. Create a safe and respectful atmosphere by avoiding derogatory comments, jokes, or any form of snide behaviour related to gender or sexual orientation. Your professionalism sets the tone for a positive experience. Avoid microaggressions. Even unintentional expressions of bias can be hurtful. Stay vigilant and mindful of your actions and words to create a supportive environment. No gossip. Respecting privacy means not engaging in gossip or unnecessary discussions about personal matters. Keep conversations focused on the task at hand. Avoid invasive questions. Limit your questions to those necessary for the Notarial Act, refraining from probing personal or sensitive areas. Respect for privacy is key to a successful transaction. Respect. Privacy. Confidentiality is paramount. Do not disclose information related to an individual's gender identity or sexual orientation without explicit consent. Supportive language. Choose words that affirm and include. Inclusive language fosters trust and openness, making the notarial process smoother for everyone involved. Support in difficult situations. If a client faces difficulties, respond with compassion and understanding. Your empathy and support can make a world of difference. Conclusion. The role of notaries extends beyond witnessing signatures. It involves nurturing an environment that upholds the dignity and respect of all individuals. By adhering to the code of conduct laid out by the Office of Notary Public, notaries can foster an inclusive environment that resonates with the principles of equality and justice for all, including those who identify as LGBTQ+. The tide has turned, and the expectations for notaries in the United States have never been clearer. This code of conduct serves as a beacon, guiding the way towards a society where everyone, regardless of their gender identity or sexual orientation, is treated with the respect and dignity they deserve.